Okay. We got
Say hi
anybody?
to them. What's this? I'll send it. What did I just do? I clicked send or something.
Oh, you said hi.
Oh, I did?
So
Okay.
that's a new thing. Instead of just saying hi, it'll say like whatever your username is said hi.
Okay.
Now, I know I put this thing on public. I know I did.
And somebody clicked a like.
Oh, good, good. Oh, there we go.
Hello,
Hey,
people.
edits.
Yay!
Hello. Yeah, we have people. Yeah, I know Amanda's supposed to be here, so um
Service dog Kazana is supposed to, and I think Conda.
mm. I think Condo jumped in at the end of my live yesterday, but I was getting off
Did he?
there. The birds were just being really quiet. Yeah. I'm doing all right. How are you? It's hot here. Have you been getting a lot of these storms that
Yeah.
because
Have you?
Amanda's in Tennessee and she's been getting them awful. No, I mean we had a tornado hit at E1. Is it EF1? Yeah. Nearby last week, like a town over, but it's not far from us.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can pin it. Let me see. There we go. And we've had some rain on and off, but now it's just humid. Hey,
It was a
condo.
it was a line of storms, and as it approached Chattanooga, it kind of cut in half. And so, it was an hour north of us, and then it was like 30 minutes south of us. It's like this big hole appeared and it went around us. And
Oh
then,
wow.
we have the awful humidity right now.
Um, there we go.
Anybody affected by the
Hey, service dog.
tornadoes this week
Yeah,
and week?
I know.
Okay, so everybody
Amanda.
knows. Okay, what are we
Oh, yep.
drinking?
What are we drinking? Cheers. Oh, wait.
Cheers,
And I always have my trusty
water.
water. Yeah,
I have a mega glass of wine. See, that's what
a mega
Johnny
glass.
Depp said in trial. Well, he didn't say it in trial. The prosecutor said it to him. He goes,
Oh,
"Oh, you're drinking a mega glass of wine," and he just sat there and went, "A mega glass," like that, and then
that's funny.
humiliated him.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Hey, bird love. Um,
Oh, hi, Burbla. Hi, everybody.
it's oh yeah. I'm not sure where you are, AKA. Um, yeah, mega glass of wine. That's funny. I got a mega bottle of Belgian white and water. I have I have one in here. I have one in the kitchen, and I have two in my room. I just I keep water everywhere. I'm constantly thirsty. Always. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching these videos about Gen X, and she can't as she this one channel, I don't know how she comes up with so much material, but she does. And one of the videos she brought up water, and she laughed because, back in the day, if somebody had told us,
Mhm.
we're going to sell water and people are going to buy it,
Yeah.
that was unfathomable to us.
Yeah. I
Completely, you know?
I grew up on a well, and half the time we didn't have running water, and we'd have to go and haul water, or we had a cistern, and our hand pump was broke, so we'd have to lower a bucket down, bring it up. I bet that didn't have much bacteria in it anyway. So we mostly, grew up drinking, ski. Actually, we had here it's called soda. We called it pop. But we drank something called ski pop or Kool-Aid. We drink Kool-Aid a lot. Um, just stuff like that. We didn't really drink much water, hardly ever at all.
And
Well
some
water is the best. And spring water. Spring water is my favorite. The spring water makes the best cup of coffee I've ever had. And that's the
really,
truth. Yeah. Yeah. Next time I'm back, where we're from, there's a spring that just flows where we would go and get get that water just to make our coffee with. It was that good. But I'm gonna get some and bring it home next time I go if I get up that way.
Some kid, with a beanie hat on, some millennial
Yeah,
sat there and he said, "I've heard of you older people drinking out of the hose." Like that.
yeah,
He said, "Was there no sinks back then?" And then she retorted, she was like, she said,
that's
"No, it's
funny.
called our parents put us outside and locked the door, and we didn't
Mhm.
come home till the lights turned on.
Yeah,
And if we wanted water, there's the hose." And
yeah.
she said, "That's the way it was." And she said, "We were the most dehydrated mother effers
Oh,
you ever saw."
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, we now and us kids, we camped out all the time. So all of our my little neighborhood, I mean, which we live, in the country, everybody had a broken down car parked in their yard, or a van, or and we camped out in them. And then we had a tree house, and we used to camp out in our tree house. It just, yeah, we were crazy, but
So, how many people here are baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, or Z? Type
that's
it
a
out.
good question. Yeah, yeah, and we
I mean,
love
I'm
you all, and we don't
pretty sure the
care.
greatest generation is just about gone. You're not going to watch, and I don't think any alphas are watching.
Yeah. But, well, we got a boomer. My
Boomer.
kids always think I'm a boomer, and because all my siblings are, and
Yeah,
but I'm Gen X, yeah.
I'll have to send you one of her videos. Her whole
Yeah.
stick is that Gen X was the toughest, generation in as far as
Mhm.
how they grew up, latchkey kids, getting locked outside,
Yeah.
bicycles without helmets. I mean, she just goes on and how Gen X doesn't care. We do not care. So I'll have to send you a couple of her videos.
Yeah.
The problem is the bacteria under their nails introduce it into your bloodstream. Oh, what are we talking about? We were talking about generations. Cafe Cat, you're between which generations? And what is service dog Santa talking about?
I'm not
Cat
sure.
scratch fever.
I'm having a hard time seeing. I think something came up about
I
it.
know I have to do this.
Yeah,
That's
something came up
embarrassing. I'm
about,
going,
a tick, I think, um, and I know, well, there's cat scratch fever actually really does come from a cat, right?
mhm.
Yeah, and then but I for some reason I was thinking of a tick because there's Lyme disease. Rocky Mountain spotted fever was huge when I was young. Um, I don't get how it was in Southern Ohio. I always thought that was like more
Yeah.
of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
But I knew a kid that almost died from it. And I had a really good friend that had cat scratch fever, and she was really, really sick. Um, oh yeah. Um, so
Timeless mystery. All right. I
yeah.
see how it is.
Yeah, sometimes, I know somebody asked me a question yesterday, and I knew the answer, but I him-hauled about I'm really funny sometimes about certain private things because you remember how you got hacked? I always
Yeah.
worry, like, if I say, you know, "This is my kid's birthday on their birthday," you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I get that, I can be like that too. Um, so yeah, that's it, yeah. Um, my daughter had Lyme disease, and actually my dog Charlie has Lyme disease. Um, and
Oh,
yeah. Well, he got it from the area we moved from, but it stayed dormant and it just recently showed up. He probably was positive like years ago and we didn't know it. He didn't like show symptoms of it. It went away and now it's back. And that's not helping his already ailing health, you know. So,
so
yep.
how's Mr. Buster?
You know, I
The
don't know what's
cockatoo.
going on, but now again, like, don't take me wrong, I still cannot scroll around through the floor with he would still get me from the floor, but he has been being really, really nice to me. Um,
Wow.
Talking to me some,
And during this
um
season too.
yeah, and well, we just had, like, a weird moon recently, so anyway, yeah, um, he's been good. Percy is the loudest cockatiel I've ever been around in my life. It's so
Wow.
funny, but he's so cute with his singing and such, and, Earl is, Earl. Yeah, so, thank you, service dog, for asking to yeah,
Our neighbor across
um
the street had a cockatiel. There they are, like, way across the street, one house over, and I remember being in my yard, and I kept hearing this sound.
aw,
It was
mm,
a real strange sound, and it was coming from their yard, and it sounded in distress. So I couldn't take any more, so I went over there hunting around in the bushes and everything. They weren't home. And I couldn't take it anymore. I had to find out what this was, a baby bird or like what's going on. And then I finally figured out it was their cockatiel. It was so loud.
aw,
It
aw,
was so loud you could hear it even though their windows and everything were closed across the street.
aw,
Yeah,
oh, Ruby,
they
I wanna say, I'm sorry, honey.
they
Yeah,
weren't very they they didn't let their cockatiel out very much in its last years. I'm not sure why.
yeah, huh. Oh,
It's
Ken went to a new golf course on Friday, and he swears he saw an African gray. He said it flew around him a couple different times, because I can't believe it didn't just fly up on his shoulder and make up with
yeah.
because, yeah, the parrots love Ken, but, yeah. So I dreamt several years ago that Ken came home from a golf course with a parrot, but it was a white I think it was like a Golfin or something because it was like a white bird, and I remember that pretty vividly, and I was like, "Please don't let please I don't want one out there, wow, but I can't keep any more birds." I would have to find it a home. Yeah,
I like Buster's
um,
dance-off videos.
yeah, yeah. Did you see the one the other day? We brought Ani back out into it.
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
I
um,
did. I
it
think that might have been there was so much dancing to that one. There was what he had was it a chipmunk partner?
So, yeah, well, anytime I find little ones that sing or mimic so the chipmunk one I got at a thrift store for $1 and it's a repeater. So Buster will talk to it and it talks back, and that was
Mm.
really funny. And then Helene, a lady that follows the channel, she sent him the chicken that does all the pretty girls walk like this.
Oh my gosh, that thing was hysterical.
That almost always gets him going, and then we always like to bring Ani out to, have a dance off with them. I have
That
other
was
ones
my
too.
favorite dance-off video, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I was telling Ken those seem to go over pretty well. I need to try to throw one of them out once because we usually do that at the table at least one time on the weekend, or the
Mhm.
singing. I call it music class. We usually either do music class or dance off or both. Um, so I find that I have to make sure Earl is like taking his nap or something or up for the
Yep.
night because Buster just gets so excited that it makes Earl a little cranky. Um,
Ah,
Sometimes he's fine. If it's early, early in the morning, he's okay. But if it's later in the afternoon or right before bed, then he'd like tried to get Buster one day right before bed. Buster had jumped up on the chair and Earl's little cube was right by it, and he just snapped out and tried to bite his tail.
hmm.
And so Earl's moody. He's a moody old man.
I
Um,
haven't paid attention to the chat.
yeah, and he's got a new thing now too, where I've taken the blind out of the one playroom, and he likes to jump up there and he talks to the neighbors if he sees our neighbors out there. he's talking to them, and we have a mama robin sitting on eggs, and
Oh,
she'll fly over to the fence and he'll talk to her. It's really been cute. He's been really sweet. And he's doing this thing with me now where I tell him to go get in his cage and he does it. Right before Ken gets home, I'll say, if you go get in your cage, I'll give you a scrubby and I can clean the room up and get Earl put up. And he does it. He's
how
done I've
long? How long have you owned him?
6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had him 6
That's a
years, so
long.
yeah. Yeah, Earl needs a little more sleep than Buster does. I mean, he's older, he is, he's old, so, yeah. So how's Ani?
He's just being Ani. He's just been being
Any
Ani. It's
more
nice out.
bites?
No,
Mm.
it's been really nice out, so we're gonna be taking him out when Scott has some off time and go to the parks again and everything. We've been going out with him, but we've been having to keep him in his carrier because if he comes out for a little bit, he tries to go after me now. It used to
Oh,
be
yeah.
he was okay with me in the car, so we could take
Mhm,
him out of the carrier for little breaks and stuff while we're driving. And
mhm.
yeah, we can't now. He's confident now, and he's kind of big for his britches right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, makes it rough.
but he's
That's what
he's
I
healthy.
I really want that's one of the reasons I've really been trying to work with Buster on commands, because I would really like to have some sort of, carrier where I can tell him, like, "Buster, you gotta get in your carrier," because that way Ken doesn't have to take, half an afternoon off when he has to go to the vet or things like that. I mean, I have a pair of gloves. If I absolutely had to, I could swoop
Yeah,
them up and put them in, but I prefer not to do that. It's a little traumatic. But in an emergency, that's why I have them, for emergencies. But I want Ken to make a stroller that Buster could get in and not Cockatoo, and be able to take him to a park. Ken is not real interested in like going to the park with like the attention of it.
mhm.
Um, but I would really like to take him places sometimes. I think it would be good for him.
Yeah, I
So
think a lot of the
we'll see.
stores are getting pretty lenient now. They,
Yeah.
Home Depot, Lowe's, Hobby
Hmm.
Lobby,
I take Bo to.
some of your sports stores, some of the
Hmm.
bookstores are
Walmart
okay.
allows dogs, at least. They don't even have to be service dogs.
Wow,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, around in my area, they do anyway. So,
Yeah,
but there is an SPCA thrift store around, and they there's people that go in there with birds. I've seen them. So, um,
an ASPCA thrift store. So
uh-huh.
it's a store just strictly with pet
Well, they have
stuff?
an SPCA. That county also has an SPCA, but they have a thrift store in their county as well that benefits. Like, I guess every time you spend like $2 or $3, it neuters a cat or spays a cat, which is really cool. Um,
Mhm.
so we like to go over there, and I like to thrift anyway, so we like to support them. They have
Okay,
good
so it doesn't
prices.
just sell pet products.
No, no, they have
Okay.
furniture. Because their furniture is typically pretty expensive, but like they have really good sales on their clothes, and they have like, I like to buy a lot of rugs because where I have dogs, I have an older dog. I'm constantly having to wash rugs, and so I like to have a lot of rugs on standby. And I find that, and then they sell towels, and they'll call them pet towels, and they're only like $1. So I can get my dogs like their bathing towels for out for like $1. So, excuse me. Oh no. Have they started?
What,
Um, it looks like there's a troll, or was.
already?
Yeah,
Really? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Um,
Put
oh, I'm
Rebecca in
sorry.
the carrier. Whoa, we're missing some really naughty things
Oh,
in
Condo
here.
said that, right? Did Condo say that? Because I saw where Condo said to let Ani drive.
Yeah, and then service dog Kazana sat there and said, put, put me in the carrier."
Yeah,
I could see
goodness.
Buster in the park. Wonderful idea. Oh, yeah.
That's all Buster ever talks about is Action Park. Um, it's hilarious, so I never even knew about Action Park, and I'm an '80s kid, but I never knew a thing about it until somebody commented and said, "Is he talking about, the Action Park in New Jersey?" And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about." So,
I still have to
yeah,
find the, what is it? The documentary on Action Park that you spoke of. I think I
it's
found it once, but I had to rent it, so I didn't do
it's
it.
on it's on well, I still call it HBO, but it's now called Max. Um,
Okay.
but it is on Max. But I think you can watch the biggest part of it on YouTube. You might have to watch like
Oh,
3 or 4 of them.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was you, Condo? That's cool. See, I mean, I just have such a hard time keeping up with, who said what or whatever. But yeah, that's what made me look it up and really start thinking about that. And then him saying like he was gonna sue people, because Action Park had
Yeah,
all
that's
these
too much of a
lawsuits.
coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So something is definitely up, with that.
And for people
Um,
that don't know what Action Park is, it was this bizarre, kinda like a backyard amusement park in New Jersey. It was big, but I just mean it was strange. It were real dangerous, cheap rides there.
I actually have a recent video where I call her Grandma Ruth because Ruth is actually from the area where Action Park was. Her husband, and her kids all went to Action Park. And sadly, she lost her husband a few years back, and she gifted Ken and I her and her husband's actual Action Park shirts that came from Action Park. And she also like a book that my grandson read. She gifted us with like mementos of their family from Action Park, which was really that
Wow.
stuff like that is like very touching. Like, because I wear the shirt occasionally on lives, but I try not to wear it too much because I don't want to ruin it. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so special to me that she would do that and give that to
Mhm.
us.
Has
Because I
anybody ever
actually
died there?
Yes, yeah.
Really?
Condo, do you know the count? Like, more
You
I
mean
wanna say
more
t
than one?
oh, yeah. Yes. It mostly
Okay.
on that slide. My god. Like, I remember when my kids started going to elementary school at my old elementary school, they still had that slide that was, like, 50 steps up, and they were kindergartners. And I made a petition to take it down.
Yeah.
And because some people got mad at me, but my gosh, Action Park made that slide look like easy peasy, like nothing
Yeah.
to it. But there was a lot. Um, oh look,
Gen Xers had those big, huge steel slides with stairs that go straight up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I had. And then the merry-go-round or the seesaw and the merry-go-round. I just saw a
Merry-go-round.
Gen X reel about all the things we survived. It was like the merry-go-round, the slide, the seesaw. Um, there was a bunch.
Yeah, there is. There's a bunch. I never did play on the monkey bars because they were scary because they were high. They we didn't have like this nice mulch underneath. It was either gravel or asphalt, and I was so scared of falling. I never did play on that.
Yeah. So I'm afraid of heights now, but as a kid, I love the monkey bars. So they say 6, but then other people say they think that there's more that wasn't reported. Um, so oh, you boomers are tough too. You guys like World War II and stuff like that. That was no joke.
Who is
Um,
tough? Who's tough?
boomers.
Oh,
You guys had the victory gardens too. I love
yeah.
I'll talk all night if we start on victory
There'll
gardens.
never be another greatest generation now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The folks that came before the boomers. Never.
Yeah. But, hopefully we all learn to figure out a way to
Yeah.
get along. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's awesome. Um, yeah, Class Action Park, yeah.
Class action.
It's it's crazy. I don't watch the documentary too often around Buster because they use naughty, naughty words, and Buster and Earl already know enough naughty, naughty words,
Do they?
and, oh, they use some bad words.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they use some very, like, I mean, you know how I am. Anyway, yeah, they use words that make me blush. So, "Hey,
Wow.
Bat Daddy." So, um, yeah, Ruth had sent me a video of Action Park, like an advertisement, and I showed it. She wanted me to show it to Buster, and I showed it to Buster. I videoed it, and at the end, he goes, "Action Park." It was really cute. I don't know enough about his past, but I certainly know he knows a lot about Action Park. So, yeah. I was gonna ask everybody, I was telling Rebecca this, and this is no way trying to get you to say, like, one of Rebecca's I mean, although you can if you want, like, one of Rebecca's favorite videos or ours, but there's certain videos I will watch when my anxiety is high, and I know some of you, like, if you're sad or whatever, you like to watch certain content. I'm just wondering, like, if you're sad or anxious or whatever, what's your go-to video and what's your favorite video of all time that helps you cope with something difficult? Um, because at the end, I'm gonna tell you mine because it's a really weird one. Do you have one? Do you know your favorite video of all time?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
type of a very specific
Yeah.
type. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh,
Right now, though, I'm hooked on dog videos. I just,
dog videos?
always, yeah, I always watched cat videos all these years.
Mhm.
I didn't realize dogs were that funny. Certain breeds, you know.
There is a porcupine at the Cincinnati Zoo. Gosh, what's his name? I gotta look it up. I watch him all the time.
Is that the one that eats?
Yes,
And
it's
it's kind of like ASMR.
yeah. Um,
I can't remember his name.
I have to look because I just love. Um, he is the cutest thing, and I love to watch him eat like corn. It's
Yeah,
just so cute. Um, Let me try to find it.
I didn't realize that the Belgian shepherds could do what they can do, and I didn't know that golden retrievers were that dumb. Like, I did not know they were that bad, that dumb, and cute and funny. So now in my feed, it's nothing but these adorable golden retriever faces
Oh, I
coming up
love
for
golden
videos,
retrievers. Yeah,
I didn't know
his
that Great Danes are terrified of things. And so it's funny, they'll see a frog or something and kind of flip out and bark at it or run into the wall. And so that cracked me up. And huskies, they have such a distinct personality and so vocal.
Mhm.
But gosh, the stuff they do, I must have had really boring dogs my whole life because I don't remember them doing anything funny, you know?
Yeah, yeah. His name's Rico.
Oh,
He's adorable. For service dog, you sound like my daughter. She has, I don't know what it's called, but the condition where you can't listen to people chew. And yeah, it's and my her nephew chews really loudly, and it like she has to like walk out of the room because she doesn't want to say anything to him. So it's funny. But yeah.
we had our pet possum. There was something about the way he ate that was real satisfying. And then I think the weirdest thing I saw was our chipmunk. We would give her mealworms, and her hands were so dainty, and she would hold the mealworm, and it would wiggle the whole time, and she'd hold it and just very delicately take a nibble
Oh,
and chew
that's cute.
forever. And the poor worm is going like this, and then she took forever to eat the darn worm. And then sometimes she'd save them. So we'd give her mealworms and she would pack them in her cheeks.
Oh,
And her
cute.
dang cheeks would be moving.
Um, I like to watch Buster eat. He eats like a princess to me. Like, he's very delicate, and I'm always amazed with that claw, the way he can, like, hold things. I think Bat Daddy just asked, Buster, Percy, and Earl are in bed. They go to bed. Parrots have to have 12 hours of night-night at least. So they're in bed.
I don't know about Buster, but Ani can hold like a speck with that
Oh,
big clumsy
yeah.
claw.
Yes. But I do love to watch them eat, like the cockatoos. Earl can't hold things with his foot like that very often because of his deformities, and I've never seen Percy eat like that.
Yeah.
Does Sonny eat like that?
Sonny never did for most of his life, and then he just randomly started just a few years ago. And
Mm,
it was very bizarre to see that because I was like, where'd he get that from? Because when I noticed him pick it up, we didn't have the pip, the parrotlet sometimes did it, but I
mhm,
couldn't understand why after all those years and seeing cockatoos doing it in his house and why all of a sudden. But he'll
mhm.
do it. He'll do it. And I don't know
Percy
how unusual that is.
I don't know. I know Percy just dives in with his beak.
That's what I
He's
think most
never
cockatiels do.
mm,
Condo has 5 cockatiels. Can you tell us if any of them hold the food in their claw?
often eat that way, especially
They do?
pretzel stick. Hmm.
I just never seen it before.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Buster doesn't need any caffeine, that's for sure. Buster talks about liquor a lot too, and
What?
again, he came that way. I have, like, the one on when you go to my homepage, he's talking to Ken, and the very first line in it, he says, "After I found the liquor, I asked for directions." And it's very plain. It's
Oh.
very, very plain. Um, yeah,
Somebody
so
stopped at the liquor store and
yeah.
then to ask for directions.
Yeah, I mean, after you've had some liquor, you probably are pretty lost. People ask sometimes I get accused of like, "That's how you talk to him," and I'm like, "No, that is how he came here that way." Actually, he has settled down with his rants in the 6 years that he's been here. Because, I mean, he definitely somebody argued about working, money, and then there's the action part, the airport. He talks about the airport a lot as well, because we
Hmm.
are gonna put him in his kennel one day and drive him to we have a small little airport in Augusta, and
Yeah.
we wanna take him over there one time and let him see I wanna see his reaction when he
Yeah.
sees because he talks about airports in great detail. So
So this
I
this is
I
what an airport is.
yeah, yeah,
Explain it
so
to
I
'em.
need to see that. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Kangaroo.
The I don't know video is my favorite video of all time.
Yeah, what is your video that you like watching?
Oh, when I'm having I watch, pimple popping videos. Um, I know, what a disappointment. Condo probably won't like me anymore, but,
The
you know
blackhead when they get the blackheads out?
mhm. Yeah, I'm real
Yeah.
into that. I don't know what it is helping people who have the condition where they pick their skin. I guess
Yeah.
they walk now, I don't do that, but I don't know what it is, it just makes me escape from so I've gotta be in a bad way, anxiety-wise, when I do that, but if I'm in a really bad way, I will sit and watch those, and it settles me down. Yeah.
What about people that pick?
I guess people that pick their skin or poke their skin and stuff have been watching the pimple the where they do the needle
Yeah.
like I do,
Uh-huh.
watch I don't do that, I watch it. Um,
Yeah.
they, said that's helping people. Therapists are recommending that they watch it, and so whatever it is that makes them want to do that, that gives them the satisfaction,
I
and
can
it's
see
help
that.
yeah, it's
Huh.
because I'm like, because I know, we did foster care for a while. We had I don't wanna say, but we had a teenager that, what do you call they harmed themselves, like, their skin, and I
Mhm.
always wonder now, like, I wonder if that would have helped that person,
Yeah.
yeah, to be able to watch that, because you can't help them all, you do your best, but yeah, that's what I do. Um, Now I sing my favorite song he's ever sang, where he sings, "I am going to the park." So if I'm driving and I'm anxious, I sing as loud as I can that I'm going to the park in Buster's voice.
Have they cat their skin picking videos?
Um,
I know there's peeling videos, right?
yeah, yeah, but, I like the pimple popping.
Oh
Um,
gosh, read what service dog Kazana said.
yes, they have a game. They have a kids game where you fill it up with this stuff. Actually, somebody bought me a keychain where you would pop it out
I
to
he knows. Yeah,
pop it.
fidget.
My I have a sibling that had pretty severe acne, and I would, like, help him, like, try and,
Wow.
um, so maybe that's got something to do with it as well. I've always, like, I used to be an EMT. I have a daughter with a lot of health problems. Like, I've always been kind of into,
You want
um,
it perfect. You want it gone.
I guess maybe, I don't know.
You want that blemish or that imperfection, you want it, like,
Maybe.
gone.
Yeah, I never thought about it in that way. But when I'm super like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a panic attack, I watch Pimple Poppin'. Um, so
Well, my favorite videos, there's 2. I like
pick
I
his
like
stuff. Well, Condo, we can
I
talk about squirrels. Go ahead,
I like
Rebecca.
I like the videos where, like, a guy goes into public and has a fake fart thing,
Oh,
and goes
yeah.
into public and, like, will fart, like, right over somebody or something to see their reaction. That just never gets old to me, and but the thing that gets me going is, when people gag when they go to throw up.
Oh, oh, see,
So
I can't
so
stand vomit.
when somebody triggers, that's a big thing
That's
online
a good
too.
catch.
Somebody will try to trigger somebody into
Yes.
gagging,
Mhm.
and so when they do and the person's like, like that, I lose it. And
Um,
I guess my 3rd favorite, I like the, news station, um, oh, what would you call them? Bloopers? 'Cause, they're
yeah.
all live, so when something happens, it's out there forever,
Yes,
and so
right.
there's endless videos of those,
Yeah.
and the Freudian slips are it's amazing how many of those bloopers are dirty,
Yeah.
people slipping with dirty words.
Yeah.
It's
Ken's favorite, I'll tell you Ken's favorite, because it's funny to watch him do it, is the Bluetooth, the guy that's walking around, he says stuff and people answer him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm on my Bluetooth." Um, I can't remember the guy's name, but that's Ken's favorite one, and I mean, he'll laugh to the point where he has almost crying. Gosh, I can't remember his name, but that's his, like, I don't think he goes to it, whatever, but, like, he loves to watch those videos. But
You'll have
yeah,
to get with me and tell me what those are, I'd like to see.
yeah, I can't remember his name. I'll have to ask him and I'll text you, but he loves he loves that. Um,
My husband
so
Scott likes type of video that I can't watch, and I don't I can't believe he finds them funny, but people falling. He thinks it's if they do it because they did something really stupid,
yeah.
because they're
Mhm.
walking down the stairs and fall, but if they fall because they did something really stupid, like showing off or what, he loses it. I can't look at it because it hurts.
Yeah.
When I see somebody fall, I can feel it, you know?
See, that's how, like, Ken can't watch, like, on football when somebody gets hurt.
Really?
He can't
Yeah.
watch it, but he'll call me out and he'll say, "Here, come out here. I can't watch it, but you'll wanna watch it." Because I I worked in EMS and I'm interested in that, like, "Oh, they broke this," or like, "Ooh, that was life flights coming for that one," so I like to see that and, like, gauge what happened, but, oh,
I
he
don't
about
blame them if somebody really hurts their one of their legs or shoulders or something, and they go to show it on slow motion, and if
Mhm.
something's like cocked funny or
Yeah,
I almost faint, you know?
yeah. See, my daughter used to be a surge tech, and she worked a lot in orthopedics, so we would both, like, "Oh, rewind that and let us watch it again," so that we could discuss it, like, what was gonna happen and, the course of action, like, um, things like that, but yeah, um,
Are these guys talking about videos they like
I'm
watching?
not sure.
They're
I
talking
think
about eating squirrels still.
guilty. N
They're still talking about the squirrels. Yeah, somebody said news bloopers are great. To a couple people.
I love
They are
bloopers in general.
amazing.
Yeah.
There was one, I can't watch it enough over the years. It's four news people and three males and one female. Actually, it's two males, one female, and their guest, which is a male, and he had a new turkey collar.
Mm.
And this special turkey collar was selling off the shelves, and he brought it in, and it looked like a tube, and you shake it or something, and it's this loud gobble 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 gobble, you know. And she
Mhm.
said, "Well, let me try." She goes, "How do you do it again?" She literally puts it to her mouth and goes like this the
My
whole
god.
day. Oh my god, those poor men! I thought they were going to pee their pants. They're like grabbing her hands, pulling them down, trying to save her,
Yeah, yeah,
But
I get secondhand embarrassment
it
with
was
stuff like
too
that.
late. It was
Yeah,
too late. But I
yeah.
like when
Plus,
they
I'm a
get the
prude.
giggles. When they get the giggles, that's when I lose it.
I do love bloopers, like, America's Funniest Home Videos, things like that. Um, I do get a kick out of stuff like that.
Now, if somebody's giggling, it's real contagious to me. So
Yeah,
when I watch those news bloopers, and that's what the bloopers usually are, is they get giggling and they can't stop,
yes,
over something.
yeah. Um, well, like, do you remember the Carol Burnett show, like Tim
Yeah.
Conway? Like, that was my favorite. His goal was always to get what was his name? Harvey, I can't think of his last name, but you know who I'm talking about. Tim
Mhm.
Conway always could get him laughing, and I
Yeah.
can still see my dad, like, putting his head back, just laughing his head off because to him, that was just the funniest thing? So,
I think the only
yes,
one that could
yeah.
keep a straight face around him was Vicki Lawrence.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know how
liked
she
her
did it.
too.
I
I
don't know
liked
how
her
she did it,
too.
but she'd sit there through whatever Tim was doing,
Yeah.
and
And
hold it in. And
that's
Carol
the
and
other
everybody else, they're doing
oh,
this,
yeah.
you know?
That's the other thing that I my go-to when the world is just too much. I watch Little House and, Carol Burnett. It's like my thing. When things are just escalating, I just go back to those shows. Like, I mean, you can learn things off of, Little House, like, about homesteading and things like that, things that are real important to me. But yeah, I like to go back to that.
I would love to see a really high-end, realistic movie about Little House.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like
Well,
today's
they're doing a
film and actors and really show us what's in her books and what it was like, you know?
so Netflix is rebooting, Little House, and it's supposedly more geared at her books, because,
Uh,
she was a really interesting person, who had a really rough life, you know? And like Mary actually died very young.
Mm.
I don't even know if Mary actually really went blind, but she did die at a young age, and I don't think they had twins, and they never had the little boy Albert.
Oh,
So
they didn't
Michael
have that. I
learned
was wondering if Albert was
mm,
real.
that was
Okay.
actually one of the very first series of books that I ever read in a series. My sister
Mhm.
bought it for me for Christmas, and I remember when I opened it, that and she bought me Charlotte's Web, which is my favorite book of all time. I cried because, like, I was just so excited. I don't read as much as I used to, I don't have the time, but we love to read. And we read quite a bit growing up. Of course, we didn't have 24-hour TV, we didn't have
I was just
YouTube,
gonna say.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a lot of it, so, um, uh, it's like we still have a little bit of time, but I'm gonna go ahead and announce about so next week on Thursday, what day is that? Or Wednesday, my bad, sorry, the 28th, May 28th, next week, we're gonna be on your channel, we're gonna do
Right.
Wings Out,
Yeah.
and then,
I'm gonna try and do a topic, I think.
okay, good, that'll be good. And then, I'm for Wings Out, I've talked to Rebecca about this before. I'm taking off June and July, um, and then we'll be back in August. Right, Rebecca? We're coming back in
It's
August? We good?
sadness. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Um,
Great
don't
sadness.
don't make me cry. Talk amongst yourselves. I have a lot of stuff going on actually.
But me!
Nothing
But
yeah,
me!
nothing's
It's all
wrong.
about me.
But
What about
I
me?
do I do have a couple personal things I have to do in June. Um, Everything's fine. Like, I'm fine. Just give me some pimple popping videos. Um, and then, July, we don't really go on vacation. We're not going on vacation, but at the same time, like, I'm pretty close to getting to 200,000. And so I think I'm still gonna do a couple lives in June, a couple lives and look, if if something changes, I'm gonna get with you and say like, "Hey, do you wanna do a pop-up?" You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
okay, yeah. Pop-ups are good.
um, but I don't wanna dedicate the time to it and then tell you I can't do it. Um, so there is a little bit of things like and actually sometime in June I'll tell you what it is, but right now I can't I can't.
Mm,
Um, but in July I want to for a couple weeks. I'm still going to be videoing at home, but for a couple weeks
good.
I want to share some of his popular I call them recycled videos
Yeah,
and just not pressure myself so much on like, oh my gosh, I have to get a video out or oh my gosh, I need to do that.
yeah.
Um Yeah. So, I just kinda need a little bit of a window there. So and I know I've talked to you about some of these things, and I know, like, Amanda knows some of these things. Um, so, yeah, reruns. See, Rebecca and I are a rerun generation. So, I'm gonna
Yeah.
play y'all some reruns a couple weeks or at least a
You
week
guys
in
are missing
June.
out. When we had
Yeah.
seasons of something, we had like
Yes. We
28,
had to wait.
32 episodes.
We had to
I mean,
wait.
when we had a season started in September and it didn't end till like mid-spring, you
Do you
know,
know how long
or
we had
later.
to wait to find out who shot JR? It was a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 months, wasn't it?
Reruns happened over the summer.
Mhm.
But now you go to watch a series, 6 to 8 episodes. What? What?
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I do too. I have some videos that I need to edit and subtitle. I don't always have time to subtitle. Um, I get a lot of comments, that people are like, "Subtitle, please," and I
Yeah.
swear I'm gonna start telling them, "Pay me $20."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't mean it. I don't do
It
this for
takes
them, but
forever.
it takes a long time, and I'm a little hard of hearing, so I have to put both headphones in. I have to really so I listen 3 times, and after 3 times I don't hear what he's saying, I move on. And, and sometimes he says things it's very clear. Other times, I really do have to listen. But I
Yeah.
promise you, anything I put, I heard. I don't put things that I haven't heard. I know sometimes that happens, but if I don't hear it, I don't put it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do need to do that. Oh, Service Dog has ideas for you, Rebecca.
Oh, does she?
Mhm.
Okay, she's gonna get me. Okay, she's gonna get with me.
Yeah. She can go
Service
see
dog,
you,
let me
Service
tell you,
Dog.
service dog always has ideas. When Ani was really like a baby and he was just easygoing and was going around the house, everything was new to him, and just so easy to video. Everything was wondrous to him. And it was so much fun to capture that on film, his first time doing this, his first time seeing that. And she came up with ideas all the time. I remember
Oh,
one
that's
idea of
good.
hers was to make a city out of cardboard boxes or something.
Oh,
And
Hannah's done stuff like that,
all
yeah.
this, all this, she wanted me to do all this work and then have Ani stomp through it and then have the Godzilla roar in the back. She would just come up with these things
That's a
every
good
single
idea.
day, every
See,
day.
I want Hannah used to make cardboard creations for us for Christmas. Like one year, she made me an iPad out of a cardboard because she knew I really wanted an iPad. And I have keep telling her, like, would you make Buster a action park cardboard box? Like, make action
Yeah.
park into cardboard. And she's like, that would be so much work and he would just destroy it. And I was like, but that really
Yeah.
happened in real life. Oh goodness. Got the two confused. Look, I I I wouldn't just go after squirrels now unless like it was something
Are we
was going
back to
down.
squirrels again? Are we really?
Oh, Condo is really traumatized by the fact that growing up, we hunted most of our food. Not all of my life, but in my young life, like I ate squirrel gravy. I'm just saying, like my neighbor made it, and that's what we ate. We ate what we ate. Um, we live like don't let the fact that I'm from Ohio fool you. Like it was Appalachian, and we hunt. I mean, people hunt. You grew gardens. You. I mean, my neighbor had a workhorse that he plowed with until I was 30, and so he. My both of my neighbors had milk cow. We had a milk cow. We milked. It just yeah. Sorry. He's very traumatized by it, poor fella.
I know, I
I
know.
it's he's like, "We have grocery stores." I was like, "But we couldn't just get our grocery stores." We had a mom and pop gas station down the road, 6 miles or so, but our grocery stores were 20 miles away. Like, you just couldn't you had to find ways to feed your family.
Well,
Um,
one
God,
thing
it's fun.
about the internet is I learned what it's really like what the cows and pigs go through that
Yeah,
we want.
yeah.
And
Mhm,
Facebook and YouTube, they don't allow those videos anymore, but they used to float around graphic abuse and killing and
mhm.
sport and so ever since I saw that, my thoughts on hunting totally did a 180 because I used to be like, "Oh, how can somebody do that?" Well, now I feel like, well, I think we should all be doing that maybe,
So, like, I
and be
raised a
kinder.
lot of my own chicken meat in Ohio, but we didn't do it the way they do it there. By the way, I don't remember what squirrel stew is called, but I know rabbit stew is called they call it succotash. I can make a really good rabbit stew, I'm just saying. Um, but I feel like people who actually hunt, number 1, they don't waste everything. We use absolutely everything. Anything that can't be used is composted. So one of the things that, struck me was, like, that's why people used rabbit skin, like, you it is a lot different vibe for me. I would much rather buy from a local farmer and know how that animal was treated and cared for, and that
Yeah.
somebody said, "Thank you for your life. We appreciate you." Like, every chicken I have ever processed, I think I mean, I'm a believer, so and that's okay if anybody else isn't, but I was thankful that that was given to us as a gift to feed our family, but even other people thank nature and all that, and I appreciate that. I think that that matters, and I think that that is a much cleaner meat than what we're currently buying from a store, you know? So, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with mistreating animals, and there's a right and a wrong way to do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I didn't hunt Bambi. Deer are different. Oh, mine is empty,
yours
but
is
it's that
empty
time, but
too? That means the
yeah.
hour's about up.
Brunswick stew. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Oh, Brunswick, was
Brunswick
it?
stew. Huh.
I've never had possum, but my neighbors did eat it.
I
They
heard
did they did.
possum was stunk up the house and was not the greatest thing to eat.
They didn't do it often, but they were extremely poor. Their dad was that's one of my closest friends. Her daddy was a coal miner, and they at times they did eat possum stew or possum in general. And they would go they it only grew in the cemetery and they called it poke, and you had to pick it in the morning and they called it poke salad. That's all I
Hmm.
know about it. But no, I'm mostly vegan now. I mostly eat vegan and vegetarian because of my cholesterol. But I'm not against people that eat meat either. I just think that we should be like we were just talking about. I actually think hunting for your own food is probably a much have you guys ever seen, like, the chickens that are going to be processed in those big old semis? It's pitiful.
Yeah.
I have a picture on my Facebook, and because from years back, and that's what I said, "This is why I started raising my own chickens." Um, yeah.
Somebody told me they're actually the most abused meat animal out of everything. That
What is
chickens
it?
are that chickens are actually the most abused animals that we eat.
I can believe that. I can believe that. Yeah. And we actually are not really utilizing a lot of the meats that we could be eating, like, that aren't as doesn't have as much fat or take up as much of the like, the waste and things like that. Um, but so but yeah, and I know not everybody can eat just vegetables all day, okay? Like, I know that. Um, when I'm just plain I've been vegan before, and it's still my stomach is no better when I'm a vegan than when I'm a carnivore, so it doesn't seem to, to help, but
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't mean to get off on all that, but next week, we're gonna be on your channel,
My
and Rebecca's
channel.
gonna come up with a topic.
So you
If I
guys
have my
gotta bring
dog
your own
treats.
drinks, water,
Yep,
coffee, hot chocolate, beer.
yeah, make
Yeah,
it
bring something
or
to drink and cozy down with it.
squirrel, bring your squirrel.
Bring a You're awful.
We have to dig a condo every chance
You're
we get,
awful.
so, yeah.
Okay, we love you guys.
I love fish, yep. Thanks you guys
Okay.
for being here. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks,
Okay.
Amanda and Service
Cheers.
Dog.